Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play out as karmic themes to help you heal the effects of trauma. A lot of times when we're in a connection with a karmic mate, we after that connection, we feel like we have a lot more baggage than what we went into the connection with. And baggage is trauma, it's unresolved issues that we haven't learned from. And since we haven't learned the spiritual lesson, it means that we haven't integrated the spiritual lesson. And then we haven't done anything with that energy. See, when we are connected to any type of relationship, all relationships are karmic because all relationships teach us. We associate the karma when we say, oh, past life karmic mate. Well, though those type of connections do bring a lot more negative karma because you know this person from previous lifetimes and you haven't learned the lessons in those previous lifetimes. So every lifetime, the karmic consequences get worse. So every lifetime you have an opportunity to integrate the spiritual lesson. However, being that we're energy beings, we have to also transmute the negative energy because just because you're out of a situation, if you are in a situation that created a lot of negative emotions, well, we hold that energy in our body. So we have to actually do something with that energy. And we can't do anything with that energy if we're blocked because as an energy being, it's your thoughts and your emotions that make your energy circulate. So when you're blocked, you can feel it as stress, tension in the body. And what happens is that over time, it doesn't feel good to be in the body. So we detach from that emotion, from that feeling. So the body and mind really have to work together, but a lot of times when a person has gone through a lot of trauma, there is a disassociation, there's detachment. So the body and mind do not work together anymore and not as balanced, I should say. So integrating the spiritual lesson of why this person came into your life, what is the spiritual significance, allows you to see how you contribute to the imbalances in your connection so you can shape shift the situation so that you can change how you are going to react because really it's what you do that creates your karma. Our thoughts are what create our actions. So again, understanding why you do what you do and where your thoughts were built on, and when did you form that belief allows you to again like heal. And when you heal, you change the dynamic of the connection because you're no longer giving your power away. You're coming from your higher self, your true self. So if a person isn't coming from a balanced place, they're not really going to be able to do anything in your life. It's when we're not balanced that we connect with someone that's not balanced. And then the karmic consequences are worse, meaning now you have to repair your life, but it also feels like there's a hole where this person used to be, meaning how much time, energy, focus, money you put into that person. Once they are no longer in your life, you can feel the hole. So again, the repairing of how this person made you feel and what the situation was is just the tip of the iceberg, is what I'm getting at. All right, now if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. It's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. Also know that anything of any importance or relevance, including the word of the video, will be in the description box. My coaching program is up. It includes inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. I also help you as a life coach. We uncover what your soul's path is, what your spiritual gifts are, how to develop your psychic gifts. So it's really an all-inclusive coaching program. This is something that sounds appealing to you, definitely fill out the link below in the description box. And like you'll see that link and someone will be in contact with you. All right. Let's see, let's see. Okay, the word of the video is self-righteousness. Oh, you know what? Before I even like pull the second card, because lately I've been pulling two cards, like I feel like a very arrogant person. I feel somebody that they act very smug. They act very smug, like, almost like even if they're wrong, they play the game as if they're not wrong. It's like, even if you say, because I feel like this person is so stubborn, like you can't normally tell this person anything. Like they want to do what they want to do, how they want to do it, why they want to do it. And you say anything to them, even if they know that you're right, they're going to act self-righteous. They're going to act like they're the ones that are right. The persona is their self-image. So like a very hard exterior, clear family karma. So I feel like you're in a connection with somebody that you can feel like that it's a soulmate connection. However, the clear karmic uh, family karma is the dynamic of the relationships, the codependency, if your parents had codependency, where I feel like your parents were codependent, but I also feel like your dad or your mom wasn't around. I feel like for most, it's your dad wasn't around, just like was not emotionally available. So you grew up in a family not ever really like knowing what it felt like to have like people like love you unconditionally. That's what it feels like. And the reason why is because when there's family karma, it means that there's addictions, there's habits that are preventing both parties, either the mother or the father, but enough that it's affecting both parties. Um, how to manifest. So you could have grown up in an alcoholic family, and so your mom was always tending to be the fixer. They were the ones that made sure that the house ran, but they were always angry. They weren't getting their needs met. So watching someone again put all their energy into a person and that person not really giving anything back, not showing up. Again, inheriting that trauma. Also, when we are in a connection like that, where you're witnessing a parent really not getting much for all their efforts, all their time, all their efforts, all their energy into like that parent to hold the family together, even though that the person's not available. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Um, it's it's like what you inherited is I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. There's a lack, and that's because there's real there, that's really the reality that you're living. I don't know why I'm having a hard time talking today. I'm feeling like someone has anxiety. So I'm feeling like, again, self-righteousness is that's the underlining energy. So you're connected to somebody that, again, has a lot of habits and behaviorisms that a parent had, I feel like, and that you might have. You're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So in order to evolve into the highest state of consciousness, you have to clear your perceptions. And so if you have inherited the way that your parents think, where there's not enough, I'm not good enough, there's not, and self-sabotaging behaviorisms, which when the core belief is, I don't have enough, I'm not good enough, well, then we perceive that we need something outside of ourselves. So again, being connected to somebody that doesn't emotionally show up, but there's a perception of feeling like you need to be there, or if you're the one that says, no, I need to be the fixer, I need to be the one that's there. like your identity is somehow conjoined with another person. So again, that's either you or, well, I feel like it's you or your person, like I said, is either that person that, um, well, you actually both have it. You both actually have the family karma, but it's like this person, how they react to it is that they stay in a lower energy where you, I feel like, have done the work. So you have an opportunity to clear your family karma. It's just being connected to the soul mate it's again there's that means that there would be love, but there would also be this negative energy attached to it because that this person is self-righteous. It was their way or the highway when you were dealing with them. When you do dealing with them, again, they wanted to stay in their dark side. And their addictions, their and because they have addictions and they, the part of their addictions is to run around and talk to other people, just get just somebody that lives for instant gratification. So that could be sleeping around a lot, doing drugs, drinking a lot, just oh, it's like just never growing up. And so again, you keep seeing this person's dark side and that it was stealing your joy, which is what happens when you're in this codependent, toxic relationship where it's more of an attachment. It's not, it's codependency and it's attachment, and understand you're connected to that person in the beginning, it's that they have gifts that you don't have, or you perceive them to be a certain way that you don't have, that you're broken, that you're wounded, and that you have something that this person admires, which is feel like you have an identity. You're someone that has friends, someone that people like, someone that, can go into any single environment and be friends where this person feels inadequate. And because they feel inadequate, they don't really have close, intimate connections with people. However, this is a soul connection, but it's past life connection. So there is all this intense chemistry. However, this person has a lot of addictions. They have a lot of sabotaging behaviorisms. Again, when we see a person's dark side, well, it's they're living in their ego. And I feel like this person, because they always had like one foot in, one foot out. That's like the way that they lived. And it's again, they didn't care like what your needs were. It's like I feel like this person knew that you're someone that's if there's a soul connection, the whole point is that there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of chemistry. You would have expectations that this person would want to be close. But instead, they always had one foot in, one foot out. It's like, again, they were living more from their dark side. And then when you were asking them about it, it's again, they were self-righteous. When you were calling them out on their behavior, they were self-righteous. Like, who the hell are you to ask me? Who the hell are you to say? They would downplay your connection. See, otherwise, if you weren't saying anything, they would be all flirty and make promises that they would never really deliver on, but again, try to make you feel like you were special through words. And then the moment that you say, hey, listen, your words are not matching your actions because you're not really giving me any time. You're running around like in your like devil energy, again hogging the spotlight, needing attention from everyone, creating persona that you're like actually confident in yourself, where you're not confident in yourself. You have liquid alcohol, liquid courage. That's this person. It's again, they create the persona, they become that person, but it's a very surface thing. So they can be like the life of the party, but no one's really close with them. No one again, so they have to be like drunk the whole time and be getting attention. Like I said, their dark side was running the show. And so you just got tired. You got tired of this person's like gaslighting. Like always felt like that they were like trying to get over on you. Felt like You felt like after a while, like you were out of touch with your own reality because everything that you knew was being deflected. That you woke up one day and like you just like saw the truth that this person, um, in spite of that deep connection, that soul connection, that they're not a twin flame, that they're actually a past karmic mate because they want to stay in this low energy. They don't want to take off the mask, and the mask is the persona of who they want to be seen as, and what it is in the fact that they wear a mask, it keeps you out of their life. So it's like they wanted to stay connected to you without emotionally being connected to you, which is really odd because it's not like this person doesn't have an emotional connection to you. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to be connected to you to hold on to. They just wanted everything on their terms, you know, um, which is I want to date a lot of other people. I don't want to be monogamous. And they knew that you were not going to live like that. So they would lie. And then when you call them out, they wouldn't be accountable. Like they didn't want to. They wanted attachment, like I said, and that attachment is a very like codependent type of relationship where you're the fixer, where you're like making sure like the house would run properly, where it's again, this person lives very fragmented and they live fragmented because they can compartmentalize where they're like, okay, you emotionally need me, but I never show up, but you stay connected to me because of their finances or again something that you're not as strong with it. But I feel like because this person emotionally can't show up, they actually do very well in their finances. And I feel as if they need you for the emotional support because they are not emotionally intelligent, so they don't know how to deal with their own emotions. Which means that they're not good with any type of stress at all. So being connected to someone that does it all is very codependent. That's what they need, which means that you would have to give up your life, which is what you watched. I feel like, again, the imprint was growing up in a family, watching how one person showed up and did everything, where the other person did what they wanted to do. And then when they were called out on it, they actually had the nerve to be self-righteous about it. Like if your mother said, "Hey, listen, like I need help and you're never around," and or I need money, but you're pissing it away at the bar, or whatever the issue was, that parent didn't care. It's like they didn't care that here it is. Your mother might have been screaming and yelling and really like trying to change this person, but again, so was so emotionally invested. And what you saw was that other parent just didn't care. They were selfish. So that imprint, again, I feel like is very similar to this past life karmic mate, where they're coming into your life and they expect you to be the fixer, the caregiver, and where you would again be like inheriting that karmic contract, the one that you saw growing up, because it feels familiar, where you called this person's bluff because you said hell to the no. So you said you're calling you called their bluff, and it was satisfying. It was one of the most satisfying things. And I feel like it's again because this person was self-righteous. They were cocky. They actually thought that you were going to do it. So that's why it was satisfying because it's like, oh, you really thought that I was gonna be that person, that I was so in love with you, like you were such the best catch that I couldn't get anything better than you, that a person that's not going to show up for me, that's not going to give me anything, that I was just going to hold on forever and then be your fixer, be your maid, be your cook, be whatever it was, but it wasn't your lover. It wasn't a consistent lover, maybe like a side lover, but not their only lover. Like you would never hold a special place in their life because they don't want to treat anyone like that. They want to seem as if they're superior. They want to seem as if they're above it all. And that's the mask. Yeah, like at the end of the day, why do I want to be in a relationship where I feel like I'm forgotten about? Like I'm not, like you don't have any time for me. Again, by giving you very small pieces, of themselves once in a while. Um, maybe some weeks more than others, but it was not consistent. You could not rely on this person. They made it known. You felt like they were insecure because they couldn't, anytime you wanted to talk about something deep, they would have a problem talking about it. They would change the subject onto something again, surface, where you just were like, no, I don't want to be in a connection like this. I had enough, and the assumptions that I'm gonna let you dominate me. When meanwhile, like you suppress your emotions even when you have them with addictions. You were like, this isn't what I want. It's like being in a relationship with you is like being in a relationship with nobody because you're emotionally void. And that's really what it is. It's like, and understand, it's not that that person's so emotionally void. That person has gone through severe trauma that they haven't healed and they haven't learned how to deal with it. So what they do is they suppress everything with through their addictions, through other people, through getting attention, through any way. It's escapism. So how they deal with you is a void. But because there was this spiritual connection, they really thought that you were going to hold on forever. And what it was is that you're like, you saw that the mask fell off, that you're not that party person. You're not that fun person. That's a persona. But at the end of the day, you're lonely. You're cutting yourself off from love. And you're, again, in that, you don't really want to cut it off completely, because if you cut off love completely, you'd starve. You would, like, it's not easy to not have anybody around you that gives you any type of love at all. So, and understand how this person is. They're at a low vibration. So, they love the fact of how much love you were giving them. But understand, once you called their bluff, well, then that's when, it became like prevalent what life was without you in it. You understand? And so I feel like that's why it was satisfying, because you're like, oh, you really think that I'm always going to be here? You're stagnating in my growth. And it doesn't matter that we have a timeless connection. At the end of the day, we have, again, there is a spiritual connection, but it's to help us go deep. If I'm not fulfilled, because you want to control me, well, then it affects my abundance on every level. So being with you means that I have to give up myself, which is what the spiritual lesson keeps repeating over and over and over and over and over again. Saying you grew up in this type of dynamic, that there was a mother and a father, that even though it's not your karma because you didn't go through it, it's family karma. And so again, this person also grew up in that same type of dynamic. However, this person would be the person that was avoidant, the person that was, did addictions, talked to other people, like just tried to escape. And you're the person that would be the fixer, the healer, the person that like shows up all the time, that gives 100%, where they might give like 10%. So again, you were like, well, then that affects my abundance. It keeps me stuck in a lower place, where you saw that the person that you grew up with was miserable. That's what you saw. You were like, they were miserable. I don't want to wind up like that. That's really what it comes down to. Just because this person is lost, I want to see, are they going to do anything? I mean, not that it matters. It doesn't matter because this person is broken, but we always like to see what the person like thinks. And really, it's like they're sad. down deep inside because are they going to do anything? No, they're going to stay like rebellious. They're going to stay like all over the place um, because this person never heals. It's like, so they choose to like stay in that type of situation. So, I mean, when I look and I'm like, are they going to do anything? Do they care? I wish I had been given to, I wish I had been able to give you my heart. Again, this person has feelings, but again, they're closed down and they know that. I couldn't express all of my feelings. Like again, so they don't communicate. Again, I'm hiding how I feel about you even from myself. So again, it's like it's what they refuse to look at. So it's not that they don't have feelings, but there's a sense of that they're so broken and that they've made up a decision a long time ago not to really be in any type of serious connection. So if you're going to give to them, then hey, they're all for that. But if you want an equal give and take, reciprocity, connection, they're not going to do it. I feel like they would hint, they give you mixed messages, they do everything to keep you on the hook, but they would never do it. And you had to get to a time that you were like, I deserve more than this. You know, you're going to stay put in a place that's such a low vibration where really Spirit is saying it's time that you break the ancestral karma. You know, it's inherited. It doesn't need to be inherited, but the habits and the behaviorisms are inherited that they're not yours. But if you grew up watching like a parent do that for another parent and you were taught that the loyalty had to be to the point that you abandon yourself, again, that's the message. People tend to think that they're doing the right thing, and Spirit says it's not because you give up you. And it's not like you're really helping that person. You're enabling that person to stay in their dark side. And I think that that's what you realized. And so Spirit says, well, we look at the inner child cards. Why did you attract this person into your life? What are you supposed to be learning at this particular time? So we see space, we see suppression, we see self-love, we see unworthy, we can see oppression, we feel confusion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's we put 6 from the top, and then no rhyme, no reason. I just shuffled them before, so I was like, well, and we'll pull 3 from this one, which is release control, deep wisdom, busting chains. So what Spirit's saying is that you grew up in an environment where it was confusing, and it was confusing because instead of being supported, you were suppressed and oppressed because you were made to feel unworthy. So again, like you need to reparent yourself and give yourself self-love. And that's by taking the space, again, which is the energy and effort and just time that you would be giving this person, and how much time and effort and energy like you possibly like spent already connected to this person, thinking about this person, hoping that this person is going to change, hoping that this person, Spirit says, take that time and create yourself. It's like that's empty space because you're not in a relationship. This person, again, never gave you that relationship. So staying connected to someone like that, that doesn't have any intention of giving you anything except for keeping you in a place of feeling unworthy and really oppressing you, because it's like they're not gonna let the relationship grow. So you're not gonna grow. That's why we are in relationships. That's why we get relationships. It teaches us. It teaches us how to evolve into a higher state of consciousness. Like it shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be so confusing. Growing up in an environment where you see the parents fighting and where you see the parents like love is difficult because that's what these attachment style connections are, these codependent connections are. They're difficult, they're hard. They keep you in a place where they rob your joy. You're not happy. And the other person doesn't seem to care. They seem to like because they're not present. They're so detached and disassociated from themselves because they again distract themselves with their addictions, with their drinking, with their drugging, with their other people. Again, that there is all avoidance so that they don't have to feel the pain, so that they don't have to acknowledge what living in that environment did and how they have continued to contribute to their negative karma within their relationships because they continue to live as if they're living in that original environment. And Spirit says, and you would do the same, being with this person, it would be like you reverted back to living in the home that you grew up in, your childhood home, as it would be them. Only it's like the dynamic, and that would be completely be suppressing you and oppressing you because after a while the person is going to get annoyed that you even have an identity because they don't have an identity. Their identity is to stay in a low vibration. They don't want to grow up. So again, essentially, Spirit's saying is like you have to love yourself. You have to reparent yourself. It's if someone like tried to suppress you and oppress you again by emotionally, psychologically, even physically abusing you, um, well, it's confusing. That love is hard, love is confusing, and that you're not worthy of love because that's what this person showed you. Again, whether that was one parent, that was two parents, that was whether they were so angry within the relationship that they were in that they just couldn't give you the time and the effort. So being non-available, avoidant because of their own issues, or the fact that they were so, like I said, enthralled with their own relationship. There's the relationship and then there's the after effects of the relationship, which is stuck in their problems and then stuck in their addictions and just not available. And so that codependent attachment style it's held together with guilt. It's held together with negative emotions, not positive emotions, and it keeps you bound to that consciousness again that is that consciousness that you watched growing up. It's the one that created the imprint. So it's a spiritual like test that Spirit's saying. It's like, hey, listen, you could either take the time to create this space. Look at all that space. Look what you can do. There's you can create anything in that space. That's like an empty canvas. Are you going to go back into this situation? Like where it's staying unworthy. It's like Spirit says, you have to reparent yourself with that. So it's about giving yourself the self-love. And it's to learn the deep wisdom, which is this how I broke the ancestral karma, this how I broke the family karma. It's we're gonna break the limiting beliefs of, that I'm not deserving, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not enough. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to be whole. I am whole. I fill my cup up all the way. I don't need you for emotional support. I don't need you for financial support. I don't need you. It's like I am whole and I am deserving of love. And Spirit says that like busting the chains of again, the way that you grew up to feel unworthy. So again, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough. So I have to be connected to this person. I'm going to fix them instead of fix myself. And Spirit says it's not about like it's again, you change your mind, you fix yourself, really. And it's about letting go. Just because that this person like has a very strong spiritual connection doesn't mean that you're supposed to be with them. It means that they came into your life to teach you, you taught them. awakened you to say, hey, like this is, it could have even been watching a parent be so miserable in the fact that they were connected to like a karmic mate, like they're like a person that didn't emotionally show up for them, that they were so angry all the time that you became bitter to that parent, that you were like, that parent was so horrible and mean all the time. They were just such a asshole all the time. And they were, but because they were in pain, and Spirit says, maybe if you didn't learn how to forgive and you're holding on to anger and resentment as well due to those previous experiences, maybe you need to go through a similar experience to understand what your mother or what your father went through. But again, this is what happens. But when you learn this spiritual lesson, which you do, you release control. You're like, I don't need to control the environment or the outcome. That the universe brings me who and what's supposed to come into my life. And that doesn't mean that the person is supposed to stay in my life forever. They bring me the wisdom. That's it. They help me integrate the spiritual lesson by integrating my core beliefs, what I perceive. And the action is I release control so that I can be a clear conduit for spirit to work through. Otherwise, I'm all blocked up. And being connected to this person, you would be all blocked up because they have no intention of being any different. Again, the Spirit leaves us off with wisdom. God has a plan for you. Live here now, knowing beauty is to come. Don't force things to happen faster than the universe has decided for you. Learn from your experiences, take small steps in faith, and succeed thanks to all your efforts. So, again, this relationship was to help you bring wisdom. And I think that wisdom of, again, what that parent went through, like what it feels like to love someone like that, what it is to be, like I said, in a relationship with someone like that, all the feelings that that parent felt, that being unworthy, not good enough, and then both parents living that karmic theme of not enough, not good enough. So again, staying in this low vibration, projecting their pain onto you, and then you really feeling like you didn't get the love because, or support. So you were suppressed and oppressed, and spirit saying, now it's now you get to see it through, you get to see this situation from so many different perceptions, and it's for your betterment, is to help you really heal, because maybe again, like I said, you had a hard time letting go, or again, you didn't see things as clear, but yeah, and you could have also had a lot of habits and behaviorisms of that parent that was the giver and the fixer, So Spirit said this connection, though you weren't supposed to be together, brought a lot of wisdom, that it changed you. It helped you heal. And even though the outcome wasn't, like as divine as we should say, as we would want it to be, it was divine in the essence that Spirit said it taught you both. And I'm going to leave that there. Right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.